Good morning. It's going to be short and sweet, I hope. Oh, had to roll a cigarette. I got a dragon breathing down my neck. Hello, 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 Weber. Oh, not even caring this morning, are you? Doing the best I can, Reptar. Must have some crispy critters somewhere. Want some crispy critter? Oh, crispy critters! Now, more important thing is rolling a cigarette. And coffee. Thank God for coffee. Oh, ow, it hurts to move. Hello, 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 Reptar. Are you ignoring the nice people? Should we try and get you a better angle for the light now that people are here? Let's see what we can do. Hey, Reptar, say hi. Oh, we can get two Reptars in there. Now I have to feed twice as many lizards. Yeah, you're looking at me, not the TV. Thank God. Because there's a monster lizard up there on the TV. Huge compared to you. It looks like it's magnified like 300%. Hopefully. This isn't too damp to roll. I don't have to have it magnified until we get some chat. Come on, Reptar. Hold out until some more people come in. No, don't look at your food. Yeah, Sunday morning quiet time, I guess. Or maybe it's Saturday, I don't know. Well, at least they're watching you. That should make you feel better. That's why we get up and put deodorant on in the morning. Well, you need some secondhand smoke before you get hungry enough to eat. Breathe it in. There's the good stuff. Uh-oh. Are you going to speak? Well, I took care of one of them. Speak. Uh-huh. Well, you're not as popular when I don't show you for a few days. Sinuses, sorry. Thank you for joining this morning, folks. We're quietly watching a bearded dragon preparing to consume multiple small creatures and vegetables. Be very, very quiet. We don't want to alarm him. quit tapping on that rock. That's the one thing depressing about getting more and more people to sub to your channel. You don't get more and more views. Unless, of course, your dragon would perform. Don't flame out. Keep your mouth shut. No flame outs today. Well, it's only 10 o'clock here, so. Well, Reptar, are you entertaining everybody? Is the suspense killing everyone? Will he, won't he? Will he, won't he? I just. Man, I can't keep doing it as long as you can keep your mouth open. They're never going to believe that was you. All that training wasted. I should try Zello. Maybe that'll work better. There's no black spot. Well, we're into fall here, full blown. Leaves are covering the grass. And this is an oak forest, so yeah, you can move. I know. You could crawl right down and eat too. I'm here all day, whether you eat or not. Uh, I was just hoping to get some chatting in, but it is Sunday. I think it's the fact that they don't make any talking noises that let you make up funny things that they must be thinking. I mean, I could have showed them the Ouija board and it would be as exciting as what you've been this morning. They're going to think you're animatronic. Oh, yeah? Oh, rubbing your chin. Your fans are going to be very critical of you. Good morning. Ben, took a long time because you're not in Michigan? You go back to that American held Canadian territory? It'll probably be snow by tomorrow. Yeah, it was horrible down here last winter. I had to have my driveway plowed once. You see, some smart people, they take a look at the weather before they move. And you find a little niche, like where I'm at, where the storms go north and south of you. And the added benefit is the lake has some really nasty rip tides. So you get to watch a few tourists take a swim once in a while. Oh, did I say that out loud? Yeah, Ben, I know how you do. I lived on a US 31 highway, and when I was in high school, we had the plows and the cranes and the dump trucks all parked in our yard because the road was closed for 2 miles, 20 feet of snow. They dug a one lane through it. You don't get it from both lakes. No, where I'm at, it goes both ways. The current, it sucks it either down to Holland or it sucks it up to Muskegon. And we really don't get much bad weather year round here. It really is unique. And literally, it's a little 10-mile wide strip that has really decent weather most of the time. Now, where I lived up north on the highway, though, was um, at the east end of the Crystal Mountain Range, which isn't a range, but it's a really high ridge. And then, or I mean, west end, excuse me. It was about 4.5 miles by the crow flies to Lake Michigan, and both of the hills made a valley right in front of our house, so you could watch the sunset on Lake Michigan from our house, and you can look out the back window and see the Crystal Mountain Lights on the top of their snow ski lodge. However, there was nothing to break the wind, so it was not a nice place to live. By the by Christmas time, the deck was over a walkout basement, and by Christmas time, you could walk right off the deck onto the snow because in front it just blew it over to the side over the house and dropped down on the other side. But yeah, it just a few miles makes a huge difference. Yeah, I saw that. I was trying. I think the blizzard of '69 might have been the most snow I've seen personally. Though I ran an apartment complex in Frankfurt in the blizzards of January of 80, 81. Which one was it? 80. No, it had to be 81. Every weekend, 4 weekends in a row, 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds coming off the lake. And the one apartment building for the senior citizens was like 200 yards off the lake shore. It was blowing the internal doors open and filling the place with snow. Of course, I had to be out playing it. Not now, maybe later. Uh, this one's for you. Not now, maybe later. Look. Oh, I don't have a shirt on. Oh, I've had a rough week. I don't know how I'm still going with as many issues as I already had. I turned half my kitchen floor blood red when I knocked a fork off the counter and stabbed my foot. The next day I came in here and poured a whole pot of coffee down my feet when I tried to sit down and slipped. I think I'm trying to lose weight by losing my left leg. I don't think it's a good idea, but I don't seem to be able to stop myself. You behave, Ben. Get your raggedy ass back to Michigan. We miss you. Um, I've been catching your new style videos. Not now, maybe later. And I must admit, you do troll yourself better than I troll myself. About to go to work like you have a job. Oh, I'm sorry. Couldn't resist that one. That was all the other people commenting that aren't in the room. I know you're an upright dude, man. I have a lot of respect for what you do. Yeah, Tizer comes in and causes issues sometimes. I try and keep him in line, but he escapes. Just another one of those voices in my head that keeps getting out. I've seen a couple of people mistake you're trolling yourself and delete your channel. I think I even gave a timeout to you the other day. Of course, I got timed out for talking about just a little jaded complaining about it being cold, and I said, "So are your nips hard?" And somebody timed me out for it. Like, are you fucking kidding? Oh, he's sexually harassing her. It's like, really? So I just came in as Tizer and raised a little hell that way. Well, it really does make me feel good when the real auditors stop by. Well, it's all right. Internet's chat are almost impossible to interpret and can be interpreted so many ways if you're a new mod snowflake. Nude Mexican. Hey, see? Look at we attract people without shirts. It's nude Mexican citizen. Yeah, the whole shirt thing is just because I like being a hypocrite. It makes me feel part of the group. Oh, it's well, what kind of job do you go to when you go to work? Now, you go naked. Does it involve a metal cylinder that's really long and attached to the ceiling and the floor? Even they start out with clothes on. Let me Google that. I'm sure Google will tell me what Not Now Maybe Later does. It'll say answered in the future. Hey, I've got one for you before you run out now, maybe later. Do you know without looking what your state constitution's First Amendment is? New Mexico, you should know. What's your state's First Amendment? I mean, that blew me away. I've only known a few days and it still has me tripped out reading them from state to state. I think I've read like 25 different states now, complete constitutions. Well, it sure ain't close to what I thought it would be. And it's like completely opposite of my magenta question about is magenta pink or is magenta purple. This one is a, oh my God, we don't even know our own state constitution and we're auditors or activists. There's ours. This is Michigan's state constitution. First Amendment. And if you get into it, the Third Amendment actually, I think, makes qualified immunity unconstitutional in Michigan. We don't need to. Well, see, that's where uh, here's what I've been trying to figure out. Not now, maybe later, because this is where people get arrested all the time. Is on the very lowest form of government's even policies, but their statutes, codes, but which level is in charge? So I've been going through and I found out it actually says in the United States Constitution that all laws must be in harmony throughout all the different levels of government. I understand that, New Mexico citizen, but they aren't the same. The Constitution of Michigan isn't even the same as the Constitution of Florida. So if I can get down to where you can drop this the United States code, the state code, and then the municipal code, and it's not in harmony, it's not a law, and it's not a code, and it's not a policy. I'm trying to find a way to make that argument without getting arrested, because they don't care. But I really think the Michigan Constitution disallows qualified immunity with its Third Amendment. No group or individual shall have any rights beyond all those. So, how can they have qualified immunity if that's an extra right granted to them? Because if you can say, look, the federal law says this, the state law says this, so that doesn't let you say anything different. You're stuck. You can't create laws beyond the ones that stay in harmony with federal and state. I've read a couple of the cases. Um, I discussed it extensively with my son. My son went from an estate attorney. We went through college for 6 years. I did all proofing all his stuff, reading all his books for 6 years while I was working. I still went to law school basically. And then he switched over to immigration law. And he's very into it. His heart's behind it. He travels all over the United States. He actually has his name next to Bill Barr's name on a Supreme Court decision in Texas. So he's doing great, although we kind of vehemently oppose each other on the issue. But when were discussing it, it's like, how can they not decide to be a sanctuary city if that isn't in harmony with the federal and state laws? And that's my argument. His argument is always, well, look, pot's illegal with the federal government, but pot's legal with the state government. So how are you going to argue with me? He always shuts me down with that one. But it's just something to think about. And I just find it really curious that not many people actually know they have state constitutional amendments that might actually protect you more, because the amendment can protect you more. I can't see the whole screen. Woo! You don't even fit on the whole screen. Well, even if you call them out on it, it's not enough, New Mexico. It's got to be something that, because you're going to end up in court to make any changes. So it's got to be this, something that you can bring to court that the judge can't argue with or dismiss. I mean, like when I brought up the jurisdiction of the judge because there was a naval flag sitting behind him, he's like, it's an American flag. He actually answered me. I thought he'd just ignore me. Well, with the way the media is today, it's so in the pocket of the left. I don't think you can get coverage other than free press, which we live in a day and age that gives us more power than almost any other age has ever had. Are you getting your breakfast done? He's definitely not as fun as watching Sasquatch feed his water monitor, excuse me, Tornado. That thing eats a baby chicken or a rat in just a few gulps. And they know that. And they know more than just that, New Mexico. They know the system of making free press work for them. We may have the power, but they've had the experience. I've been watching videos for 20 hours a day for a year plus and trying to see that if in a new area there's change. And really, the only change I see is in the areas that they're forced to. It still isn't a very good view, is it? I mean, I watched a video, what was it, yesterday, where the cop says the law doesn't matter right now. The law doesn't matter right now. I'm like, what in the? A cop said that? Time for mold. I mean, I compare our struggle with the things that are in the politics right now. Hi, Drewsy. Drewsy? Drewsy. There's just nothing I can do with your name. Just make it funny. I've tried. But if you want to scroll back, if it lets you, you can go back a few minutes. And he ate his lunch. This is Reptar. But yeah, I see that there is more awareness in general, but only a little bit. The big differences I see are only in the actual people that have been interacted with. And you think the word would have spread farther than it does, but I don't think it does spread because it's so much. Well, like they say, even in the news now, you have about 36 hours, and then whatever was the hottest topic is completely off the table and on to the next new thing. Where it used to be, Sunday night news was once a week, and that's where you got your whole week's news. Now news is 24/7. And I was laid up when they had the war, so they had that out. Oh, okay. New account. Did the turtle eat your last one? Because I'd seen you in a few streams lately, but I did not realize it was the tortoise man. Just going through the alphabet, you're going to be Drew D next? Now, see, that I could work with. Yeah, you probably made some right wing remark, said you liked Trump or something. Oh, I wish you had smell-o-vision. Oh, smell that. Oh, yeah, New Mexico City. We grew a couple plants outside this year in my brother's garden, and Super Kush #1. I ordered it from Europe, the seeds here last year, and this year's first time we put it indoor. It has colas on the clones. I've never seen clones have colas. This one has some nice phenons. It's got a little citrus occasionally, a very light hint of the pine. Really no earthy flavor at all. But I go to seedsupreme.com and I research all the different kinds of seeds. I go back, I only buy stuff that's been on the market 3 years or more and has comments over the whole 3 years from people that grew it. Plus, they chart it all out for you. They'll give you like a spider web thing with 6 different things and rate it from 5 to 1, and then they'll give you the history of the plant and then another detail, even more detailed history, and then all the different breakdowns from indica, sativa mix, THC expected amount, CBD expected amount, height, whether it grows indoor, outdoor. I mean, it gives you everything. I forgot I got potatoes in the freezer. Well, I bought bacon for the first time in 3 months. Drew and had it for breakfast. I remembered I don't really miss cheap bacon. But my budget is so low that I took the turkey ham I bought for like $2.50 a pound and made that, fry that in a frying pan and then throw the eggs in because it sure wasn't worthy of a sandwich. There are some breakfast burritos that are fucking delicious. They do one down at the gas station, do a breakfast pizza too. I think it would be a lot better with a fresh crust instead of those frozen thin crusts, but I have eggs every day, breakfast or lunch, whichever I get up. They're cheap. I go through 9 to 12 dozen a month. You can make a breakfast for $1 and get meat and bread and eggs. Oh. Oh my God, Drew. I am jealous. I never thought I'd say it because I grew up on venison. I mean, we only ate beef when we drove through McDonald's on the way back and forth to our up north living. My brother makes the deer sausage. He's really good at smoking and sweating that out. So without fat in it, it's really hard to make sausage, especially like the summer sausage is what I'm talking about. But we had chili with venison. Venison on pizza was both the pepperoni my dad made and the burger. And burgers were venison. The roast was venison. The steaks were venison tenderloin and backstrap. Yeah, for the effort, you get so much more elk meat. We had a guy that moved to Frankfurt that was an elk guide for like 30 years, and he had raw elk meat flown to him. And he'd have 1.5 inch thick steak, and he'd put it on the grill for 30 seconds on each side and eat it raw. It couldn't even have the middle warm. It still had to be cold. Uh, I don't mind rare, but I like it hot. What we did, Drew, was we would put up like 200 or 300 pounds of burger at a time. We would get like 150 pounds of burger in the freezer or chunk meat in the freezer, and then the butcher shop down the road, when his pork was going to go bad, out of date, a day before it went out of date, he'd sell us the pork roasts, and we would add that to our venison burger. We get it like 30 cents a pound, so you could claim loss on it. So you'd throw 50 pounds of that in with 150 pounds of venison, and it's just enough fat that it isn't that gamey, dry flavor that everybody complains about. But then as a teenager, I drowned it in man Miracle Whip anyways. So. No, I had to quit hunting because I can't get out in the woods and I can't clean the deer and I can't. Yeah, I just can't. The last time I went hunting, I took my walker to get from the truck to the blind. But we hunted for food. We fished for food. I mean, we had a freezer full of fish, and the freezer would be filled up throughout the summer and into the Christmas time with venison, and it would run dry sometime around March or April. But you really can't take a deer until after strawberries are done. Once strawberries are done, they've replaced all that stick shit flavor that they put into their meat. Tastes horrible with all that fresh fruit and fresh shoots, and the meat's really edible by the time strawberries are done. I don't know how many years since I hunted. I know the last deer I took would have been, well, 15 years, 14 years ago. That was a hell of a week. I took mine at 200 yards with my black powdered rifle, and my brother got to kill his with his 44 pistol. He shoots an Encore, which is a solid barrel, not a single barrel. So the compression is twice what a 44 pistol is. Rhodes supposed to be taking one with a crossbow and cleaning it on his backup channel. Swamp moose are garbage. Yeah, we kind of have two separate kinds of deer. Whitetail in Michigan, we call them hill deer and swamp deer. And there is a different flavor to the meat. But the thing of it is, come deer season, all the fucking hill deer head to the swamp. So I've never ever seen a moose in real life in the wild. But our problem right now in Michigan is all the freaking bears. Where I ran around as a kid and preteen in the woods, a mile from the house, right now I'd get eaten alive by bears. You go on those trails and there's bear shit, there's claw marks in trees 6 feet in the air and just scrape across these trees. My niece has lost 7 chickens this year to bear, and the coop is in their backyard, like 50 feet from the house. There's a big berry patch out in the swamp behind their house. It's a couple hundred acres large and it holds several bears. But this one's a mother with triplets. They're about a year and a half old now. So, you've seen elk? I've seen one elk, and it was actually in Ohio. And it was the first year that I was hunting, and about 3 miles down the road, a neighbor kid shot at this huge deer, and we were on the walkie talkies and the CBs, and we went down there, and there was a guy from out of state hunting, and he had shot it and killed it, but it was already wounded, and it was only like 2 miles from the house, so we were there pretty quick. And then the DNR showed up, and the guy's like, I shot it, I shot it. And Steve's like, no, 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 I shot it first, I shot it first. And the DNR walks over, and I go, look, the kid ain't going to get this deer. This thing's huge. That guy's going to get this deer. And he tells something to the kid. Steve takes off, goes running home. And then I figured he threatened him or something, but nope, it was an elk. And the guy lost his gun, his truck, a $10,000 fine. He couldn't hunt in the state of Ohio for 5 years. The only one better is the guy that came up from Detroit up north and shot a freaking cow. Well, it had horns. It was a bull. That one cost him a few years in jail, and his car and his gun and his license. I should see if I can't get a better picture of him. Wish I could get there. Maybe there. Well, it's still going to get the reflection. A little better. Yeah, cows can. I was trying to think of what the um. God, as a kid, I could have told you all about them. The Texas steer, both sexes have horns. But most of the meat cows up north were your brown and white cow, a rust brown and white cow. That only the few of the bulls had, because there weren't even a lot of bulls around. Actually, quite hard to take care of. Yeah, cows can have horns, but bulls cannot have udders. I would like to mention that there are a lot of new auditors showing up on the internet. I don't have time to do Facebook too, but you can turn on Facebook and have it scroll through different cops, and it goes all day without repeating. I'm still trying to deal with the logistics of mine with the equipment failures and lack of skill. Yeah, even if you go through the suggestions, you can pick up one or two a day that are brand new, have less than 100 subscribers. Some are cringy, scary, uh, but it's like in everything, and I've tried to hold myself responsible for this because I've done a lot of training in a lot of different jobs. And what I've noticed is the skilled old timers, let's call them, that have 10 years or more experience, they see a new person come in and make a mistake and they make all kinds of fun about it, but they forget to realize back 10 years ago they made the same exact mistake. And I've seen it time and time again where you did the same thing, but they don't remember that. So you see new auditors and they make the same mistakes, or they're trying to reach beyond themselves and act a part, which is fine if you're a good actor, but that involves being a great liar. I mean, you have to admit all the good actors are great liars. That goes with the territory. I mean, everybody had their first audit, and most of them won't show you their first audit. My first audit, let's see, it took me so long to get from the van to the building. The lens fogged up, and then I set it upside down on the countertop, and absolutely nobody noticed me except for one person took a cam back, and they won. They got my picture before I put my camera back up. So, you know, where's my pride in that? But I left it up. And Drew, like I was saying earlier in this stream, I was shocked myself 3 days ago when I tried to tell somebody what the First Amendment to the Michigan State Constitution said, and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't read. I don't think I've ever read it. I mean, I've spent 10,000 videos on activism based on a Constitution of the United States, but I don't even know the Michigan Constitution. But the reason that I got that far was because I struggle with the levels of government and whose freaking rules rule. And I read in the United States Constitution that all federal, state, and municipalities rules and laws and statutes and codes must be in harmony. So they can't go beyond restricting our rights if it breaks the harmony of the three. But I'm trying to figure out who can you point to and say, no, you can't do this, because so in doing that, I was like, I should host panels. Ah, pugs. I've done public speaking. I've been the president of a union. The amount of work you put in for it, for what you get out of it. Well, you do you know, Pugs? You know what the First Amendment to the Constitution of the state you're in is? Pug faced citizen. I mean, Michigan is almost identical to several other ones, which shocked the shit out of me. I've read about 25 different states now. It says all, all of the political power resides in the citizens. All of it. That's what our First Amendment to the Michigan State Constitution is. People are in charge. Period. 100%, not 99%, not general. 100% in charge. Hey, eyes wide open. Good morning. And our Second Amendment says that we have the right to completely replace the government of Michigan whenever we feel it's in the best interest of the citizens. That's our Second Amendment. And the third, I think, pretty much negates qualified immunity because it says no group or single person shall have rights beyond all others, which means you can't have qualified immunity. That gives you a right beyond others. It's funny you say I should host panels. I was trying to think who said I should read children's horror stories. I have the voice for it. I do love reading children's books. I read the Dr. Seuss to all of my kids and grandkids, and each one actually would have their favorite book. Although two of them picked Green Eggs and Ham. But we had Fox and Socks was my son. We had One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. You're using Siri? I turn that shit off on my iPhone. I don't allow shit to help me. No, I don't want no notifications. No, I don't want no help. No, I don't want you to check this. No, I don't want you to follow me. No, just leave me the fuck alone. It's a phone and a camera. And somehow I magnified my screen somehow, zoomed it so that it was like only get about a fifth of the screen on it, and you couldn't push any buttons, so it was like frozen, had to reset. Oh my god, what a pain in the ass that was for a whole day. Oh, I love Cat in the Hat. That was my favorite. Now the other book that I read to him was Mother Goose Nursery Rhymes, and I specifically read the Uncle Remus series. And that might get people to leave my channel if they were to look that up. But you have to realize I'm an old man. I've lived through a lot of different cultures. You have the outrage culture right now, which is anything but to laugh at. But there was a time when I was in the fourth grade, or no, later than that, because my brother was the one who bought the book. He was in the second grade. So I'd have been in the seventh grade or eighth grade. The United States government funded a Scholastic Books magazine that they sent out to all the public schools, and for a really cheap price, you could buy books. There were other things in it you could buy, but I mean, you could buy books for a quarter, 50 cents. And one of the books that my brother bought were called Jokes. And it had 49 pages of jokes in it. And And I stop and think, do you think they could publish that book and sell it in the public schools in this day and age? I don't think so. How many are in here? So we're telling a story. Well, there's 6 in here. I should tell a cop story. I'll tell a funny cop story if anyone gives me one. According to James Freeman, it didn't happen because I didn't film it, but I'll tell it as a story anyway. Why did the teddy bears say no to the dessert? I don't know. Why did the teddy bear say no to the dessert? He was stuffed. He was stuffed. That's something I'd expect my 11-year-old grandson to tell me. I don't know if I've ever asked you eyes wide open, but is magenta a pink or a purple? I've been asking this question for a long time. The first time I ever asked it was to a cop. Can I help you? Yes. Could you tell me if magenta is a pink or a purple? Never expected the response I got. Are you on drugs, sir? That's the only response I've ever gotten that was that one. No, it's my enigmatic question. It makes the brain absolutely freeze. Your brain just stops, goes, what the fuck? So no matter what train of thought you were on, no matter what bias your brain had already picked the decision of what's going on, everything resets. It's like taking a juvenile and putting your hand and running it down their face in front of their eyes actually changes their emotional state. It's just the way the brain works. You got to come up with a completely non-biased question. You can't have a bias. Unless somebody hates pink or purple, but you don't get. I mean, I've asked it thousands of times, and you don't get a lot of repeat answers. Actually, purple or pink as an answer is very infrequent, maybe 10 times each. Usually, an artist will say it's purple. But yeah, they have all kinds of really, really effective brain studies out now on the different sections of the brain, what the brain does, and they can prove The part of your brain that makes decisions reacts prior to you even knowing you saw what you're looking at. So you wheel around the corner as a cop. Before you see that kid on the bicycle, your brain has already made the decision that's a criminal without you even knowing. Now you're going to create a narrative. This is what bias is. You're going to backtrack, reverse engineer that answer with what you see to make it right. And the more that you can educate yourself on how the brain works, the more you can control other people's actions. Isn't that cool? But you have to be careful what you read. And this, like the latest study on the brain came out from some morons that said the brain activity of older people proves that if you think too much, you wear your brain down. Whereas the studies prior to that show that your brain functions at an 80% increased rate when you're older than when you're younger. So everything you read, take with a grain of salt, even if it's written by a doctor. Oh, we're losing interest here, Reptar. Oh, we've been almost 90 minutes. I didn't even give you a break, Reptar. The union's going to have my ass. Oh, you hear the sound of hot coffee? That's going in as coffee, not coming out the other way. I always have a few drops that drip no matter where I'm pouring the coffee or peeing it out. Well, it should be getting close to going live on the mall. You look comfortable. Well, your head's not at rest, so you're not comfortable. Oh, you're still digesting, huh? Coachella Valley Cop Watch, my homie. What's up with you? Much respect and love, brother. Out there doing it. Yeah, I watch all your stuff, man. I like it. Oh, the squirrels are finally out eating acorns. Sorry, I got distracted by the squirrel. Yeah, I've been doing so good, but today I forced myself to feed Raptor online and chat with a few people. I have screens right in front of where his face is. There, we'll get a double reflection. Yeah, I was saying earlier, I got to get my equipment fixed. Just starting your channel. My GoPro didn't work. Bought it brand new, never would start. And I traded it for the debt my daughter owed me for her tattoo. So getting it replaced is next near to impossible. That girl's so busy raising 3 kids and working full time. And well, today, Coachella, I've been talking about something that I learned this week that threw me for a loop. As smart as I think I am, I didn't even know what the amendments to the Constitution were in the state of Michigan. Out of the shadows, into the light, on patrol, it's the night. Hey, I got it right the first time. So that was my week of knowledge that I gave to myself, is that I have no clue what the state constitution is. I kind of figured it would just follow along with the federal, but when I read the First Amendment and it said all of the political power resides in the citizens, I'm like, what's free? Where's the free speech part? I love your name, Shadow Patrol. Of course, I was forced for about 3 years of my grandson's Paw Patrol videos that he watched them in the wrong order because that's the way they come up. His favorite was Dozer. Oh, that's great, Coachella. I see that for safety, that auditors are grouping up, and you've got the Auditing American group. I mean, that does a real good job. You've got people that are traveling to be with other people. It's a two-edged sword though, because it gives the government another way to find ways to make it seem like we're bad, label us as a group, and then one person screws up, or one person that does an audit that isn't part of the group, and you get into the blame. Yeah, the one you've been talking about, Coachella, you bet, man. Definitely will. I'm kind of a believe in vibrations, and the whole earth is all part of the same set of vibrations thing. So I'll send my best vibrations that way, Coachella. So yeah, to get the free speech or free press, you got to get down to like the Eighth Amendment of the Constitution in Michigan. It's like sixth in Florida, and I kind of get muffled on all the rest I read because I kind of spent about 4 days reading without sleep, so I kind of lost track of a lot of it. Yeah, it's hard losing somebody, Coachella, especially somebody you had history with. But you keep the history alive, and they're still here. Because really, they're not the body; they're the parts that make up what they've done with other people during that time. I kind of messed that all up, but I think you get the point. Hey, Nightshade, is your ground covered with white yet? I got a text in the middle of the night last week from my mother, who only can text, and she can't even send a picture through text. Told me I had to go to check my niece's Facebook account out because they had a picture of it snowing in Arcadia at like 2 a.m. I'm like, Mom, you're lucky it's 3 a.m. and I'm normally up at this time. All right, how many people? We have five to four. All right. I'll tell you a funny cop story before I go. Um, I was the first time I ever opened trout season, which opens at midnight, and started fishing at 12:01 with a fishing partner of mine, and we fished all day or all night, excuse me, until about 10 in the morning. And we stopped by the house that he had used to own, but that had got taken away from him by the government and bought by his cousin. And we stopped by to pick up some of his stuff, and they got into an altercation. And the cops came out, and I'm sitting in my Wrangler in the driveway with a cop car behind me, and he gets arrested because he had a warrant. And the cop asked me if I wanted to talk about what happened. He said, "Hey, I did intervene. I stood between three people trying to beat up one person and shoved all three of them back, and then I came and sat in the Jeep. And I'm not testifying to anything, and I don't want any. Nobody did any crime as far as I saw." And when they searched him, he had the pot in his tray in his backpack on him. And I'm sitting there waiting, and the cop comes over to the Jeep and puts the tray into my Jeep on the floor in the passenger side and said, "We have to take Joe to jail. He has a warrant." And he said that you could take care of this for him. And this is before it was legal, even medical in Michigan. And I said, "He did?" And they let he kind of chuckled, said, "Yeah, he did." I'm like, "Okay." So the cops put him in the car. They pull out of the driveway. They park on the other side of the road. And they told me that, "Oh, he can bond right out. So just follow us to the police station," which was like 20 miles. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to get out into the road and they're going to pop me for weed and I'm going to jail. This sucks." But they waited for like 20 minutes. So I back out. I go to take off. They go in front of me, cut me right off. And we go down the road. We turn the road. They turn onto a side road and just fucking shoot down the road. I'm in a Wrangler with a little four-cylinder. I mean, it takes a while to get up to 55. And they were at like 70 or 80 from like 100 yards from the stop sign. They went way out of sight. I couldn't see them anymore. And so I roll into the police station and park in the parking lot about 300 yards from this police station, as far away as I can get. And I'm the only one in the parking lot. And by this time, it's like 10 at night. 2 hours later, he finally comes out the door and walks all the way across the parking lot over to where I'm at and says, "Do you still have my weed?" Yeah. Good. I was afraid you were going to throw it out. He said, "Those cops laughed at you the whole way back to the station. They were wondering if you would try to keep up, if you were going to throw the weed away." Like, them fuckers. Because I sat there that whole 2 hour with his weed sitting there going, man, I could use a joint. Well, that's my funny cop story if anybody's still here listening. But it didn't really happen because I didn't film it. So James Freeman will tell you. It's just a story. Well, Reptar, are you done showing off? You see that big lizard in the screen in front of you? He could eat you for breakfast. Look how big he is. It was. I mean, I knew I was going to jail. I sat there for that whole 2 hours in the parking lot, waiting for the cops to come across the parking lot and arrest me. The bastards had a good time with me. Thanks, Drew. And nothing like when the cops actually arrested me for my DUI, drove me to the Sally Port, and left the big, huge garage door wide open. Both of them went inside, locked me out, and left me in the open garage for 20 minutes, standing there with cuffs on. I mean, I walked out the door into the parking lot and stood watching the river, which is right at the back of the lot, for like 10 minutes, and then came back and stood in the Sally Port and waited, and finally they came out. It's like, what the fuck? What are you looking at? Ever since I grew my beard, you think I'm aggressive. Just because it looks as scraggly as yours. As much time as I have to fill in with my stories, because there's only a few people in here, I should probably change the title to Story Time with Reptar. Maybe I could start reading Dr. Seuss books or something. Ding, 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 time for another bowl. Oh, I didn't even finish the one I had. What do you think, Reptar? Give secondhand smoke a try again, even though it don't work. I may go live again tonight and talk about this state constitution thing. Just because I find it kind of ironic how stupid I was. Ill-informed, I guess, is a better word. That's probably what I should use. Uninformed. It's the only fake noise I can come up with you with your mouth open, Raptor. If I could get a little flame action to shoot out of there, little graphics, that'd be cool. But I couldn't do the first thing with editing without screwing it up. I have to buy two of something because I'm going to break the first one trying to get it to work. We're going to have to move, which means we're going to have to turn this on so they don't hear me scream. Well, maybe we'll try. Nope. Getting in pretty sad shape when just trying to shift your body weight makes tears roll down your cheek. But I got some good number of stories to tell, so I'll take the trade-off. 50 years of excitement and 50 years of pain because of it. Come on, Raptor. You know you're going to talk on TV. Stop with the stage fright. I'm not sure if I should be worried about the mouth being open lately or not. And I do expect to see some more videos from you, Drew, when you get them inside and settled. That's a pretty grainy picture. I guess it's just a reflection. Have you looked down there? We see we got a new a new pet, a little polar bear in there to keep Reptar company. Inspired by AK Twin Mommy. You can really see how the two skulls have aged. The one that gets really dark is the older one. And look how bleached out the newer one still is. Alright, alright. Gotta figure out some sound. Wow, 30% off. That's cool. I like to vary his diet a lot more, but that's really a luxury at this point. He's on as much of a budget as I am. Yeah, he really loves those little, they're like pellets, round and 3/8 of an inch long or more. They're bright red. He crunches them. I mean, you can hear it on the video if you go back to some of my old videos. And they're only like $4 through Amazon, but you have to order $25 worth of stuff to get it. And the $25 worth of stuff I would get would be live mealworms or crickets, but they don't count towards the $25 either, unless you want to be a Prime member or something. So I went to Walmart where you could get them. Well, they don't carry it anymore. I went to Meijer, they don't carry it anymore. There's one pet store, but for me to get out the four wheeler and push my cart into the store and look to see if they have it, I just haven't done it. I tried that at the first because some couple people I read said he mushed up the food, and he was raised on the kids walking down with a one of the stems of the lettuce that were like a foot long, and they hand fed him the lettuce, and he'd eat the sides off and leave the white middle, and then they'd put another piece in, and so he never really was even offered soft food. So when I tried it, he just pretty much sat there till it went bad, and he picks out the red ones and crunches them. So it's hilarious to listen to. It's like eating dry cereal, like Captain Crunch or something. But with just my disability, things are really, I got to really be tight on everything. And he could live entirely just off of romaine lettuce. So there's a water dish in there that he'll go sit in or poop in, but I've only seen him drink like 4 times this year. But when he poops the little black strip with the little white chunk at the end, and the white is the like what you would be urine. They don't pee, which was a shock to me to find out. I had no idea. But yeah, I heard a lot of people. I read a lot of what people would say, like when they commented on the different foods that you could order and the farms that you could order them from, and a lot of them have their soft, and they give them all kinds of fruits and vegetables. And I just am really leery because I killed off like 4 hamsters because I would get them and take care of them, and think that they were doing great, and I'd train them, and then I'd give them real food, like a real carrot or a real chunk of celery, and they'd get diarrhea from it and die. I never knew why because I was a little kid, but I was killing them off. So now it's hard for me to add food to his diet. But he loves live crickets and live mealworms. Oh my God, he goes crazy over them. I tried kale, he wouldn't touch it. I tried endive, he wouldn't touch it. I thought if I mixed them together a little at a time, it might work. But for me to buy all that stuff, it goes bad so quick. I can buy the little triple heads of romaine hearts and get by a week and a half on it. 80% grass. That's probably about where I'm at. I smoke about 80% grass and 20% cigarettes. I don't remember a lot about the insides. I would, I mean, I saw the insides of several snapping turtles, but they must have just, I don't know how many stomachs they have. But any amphibian or reptile are far and above a beaver. But I found out what that big tail they have is really for. They show you on the cartoons growing up. Oh, they use that tail to slap the mud down. No, no, no. They use it as a plate. They sit up with it sitting in front of them, and they take their shit and then they eat their shit because it's so hard to digest all the wood fiber that they eat. It needs to be eaten twice. But both the mealworms and the crickets I get are from one cricket farm. There's three or four different ones on Amazon. I should try a quiet stream and just put like a babbling brook on or something. So yeah, they just that's their system is to hold it for a long time and let it break down. I don't know why he's been opening his mouth for the last few days. I don't know if I finally got it hot enough in there because I've been putting the blanket over it at night and leaving the two lights on all day, where before I had to have the light without the heat light because I was using the cord for the fan for the computer, but I got that fixed now. Yeah, if you just put like, some low level stream music or something, and just have it stream because I mean Babbling Brooks and stuff. There was a couple of them that I watched a lot. Just they'd have like ducks and birds that would fly in and out. I have to spend some time when I get too worked up over all the really hazardous stuff I watch. I was cracking up when he ate that banana. It's like chomp, and the whole edge of the banana had this nice curve from his cut straight out of his mouth shape. Are you trying to talk? Is that what this is? Or are you just warm enough? I hate to be overly worrisome over you having your mouth open. Yeah, I think that he follows the season here because he isn't eating as much right now. He seemed, as soon as the weather changed, he does seem to cut down the amount he eat almost by half. Because I put about the same amount of lettuce in every time, and it used to be he ate it all through the summer. So I've always thought that it's temperature related because he uses the heat to digest as well as for his muscles. So nature helps him with the pressure by putting him in the water. When he's in the water, it relaxes the. Well, hell, it's better than having to give him an enema. I still have nightmares from enemas. You haven't pooped in 2 days, son. Get in the bathroom. You're getting an enema. Yeah, for his first 6 months, basically, my daughter had to take care of him, but he was my grandson's pet. And she bathed him every week. She said he loved it, but I've never had him in a bath. If he were to get away, I can't catch him. So I just have to try and be extra cautious. If I were still maneuverable, he would be out most of the time, like my iguana was, like my blue and gold macaw was, who didn't have a cage. Yeah, see, I have two lights, one's ceramic and one's a daylight. And normally I run the ceramic 24/7, but when it was so hot this summer and my 8-inch fan of my computer fried, I had to have the house fan blow right on the side of the computer, so I had to unplug the ceramic and during the day and unplug the daylight, plug the ceramic at night. So it's just been a week here since I turned the house fan off when the temperature changed. That they both run during the day and the ceramic runs during the night. But he's got such a huge range of comfort from like 85 degrees to 105 degrees. And I very seldom see him go below the hammock because it's too warm. But I really worried about it right when he first got here. But he had been in a basement, and she was running a dehumidifier in the summer and a humidifier in the winter and a space heater, and it was costing them a lot of money for electricity just to keep them. Whereas here, the hot water heater's in the closet right behind him. The computer, the TV, the cable, the Wi-Fi, the surround sound, me, we're all in here heating up the room. So if I just close the door, it's 20 degrees warmer in here than the rest of the house. Stupid desert dragons. Right, he can find where, and there's a in between zone where the temperature changes, and they will go to where they're comfortable. They're not just going to stay where they're not comfortable. So I assume he likes being up in the hammock. He's just about got it tore apart. I'm going to have to order another one. But it lasted a year. I wish could just switch over to all sand and get him a second hammock and take out all the other stuff except for the skeletons. But we'll see. All right, I've cleared 2 hours, guys. He might be going back down to eat again, or he might just be bitching. Let's see. Yeah, he's just going to complain. Look at that healthy belly. Well, his skin's still loose, so he's not like obese like I am. Every time I rearrange his cage, he'll spend a week digging out, trying to get out. And I can't blame a lot of it on him because if you look from the inside, you see reflection. It looks like you can climb right out onto the TV tray I have right next to it. But then by the time he settles down, I re-clean the cage and move things around. It's upset him again. There is a stress factor. They say if they stand up trying to get out all the time, that there's probably an issue. But it seems more with a new surroundings. If I put everything back exactly like it was, it don't bother him. But if I move things around, like adding the skulls, adding the polar bear, he knocked over 3 times the first day I put it in. Now he ignores it. But we've been on over 2 hours. I'm gonna let everybody go. Hit the like on the way out if you haven't. Yeah, we had one that I mean was a reptile that was like the only one in the area. I mean, they would see the iguana or whatever, but if it was serious, they sent him to one guy because not many people. specialize in them. But y'all have a good day. As Seward Dog Patriot would say, why don't we all just pray for everybody? Hit the like on the way out so maybe my notifications will start getting sent out. Yeah, I know. It's better to be prepared than to fret when you're doing it. You're already on. Thanks to everybody who watched, and everybody be safe. Like Rip Tarnell effects say on the way out, we gone.